Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in today's event. My name is Mateo, and the lecture is related to group reporting functionality in SAP S/4HANA 1909 release. So the content of today's session is first, we will see an introduction of myself. Later on, we will review the main concepts, features, and processes within S/4HANA 1909 release, and then the main configurations and master data elements within this solution. And finally, what are the processes in S/4HANA 1909 with some screenshots. So firstly, we will start with a quick introduction about myself. I'm S/4HANA project manager, and I have over 13 years of experience in SAP Finance and Controlling modules, and also in logistics. I have several professional certificates, such as SAP Activate Project Manager, S/4HANA Finance Accounting, PMP, ETL, among others. And I have participated in 7 SAP rollouts in America, 8 in Europe, 1 S/4HANA Greenfield implementation, and 1 global upgrade. So if we start with the basic concepts about group reporting, what is group reporting? It's a new consolidation solution that has been delivered by SAP on the S/4HANA 1809 release, and it has been improved in the 1909 version. So this solution is integrated with the S/4HANA Finance database, so it shares the same records as the finance line items. In addition to that, it can be implemented either cloud or in-premise solution, and it has the capabilities for local and group accounting and reporting within consolidation processes. So what are the main features? First, that it's in the S/4HANA database, and that allows to have real-time access to the finance record, speeding up the closing processes, and it's not needed to have any ETL or interface between the transactional finance system to the consolidation records. It's also including the new concept of financial statement items, that it's the account within the consolidation system in group reporting, and it's replacing the group chart of accounts. The good thing is that since the operating chart of accounts is not needed to be modified, you can keep a standardized financial statement items records. Also, as SAP, it's delivering standard rules and automatic processes as part of elimination and data validation processes that we will see in the next slides. And also, all these rules are shared for local and group closing activities within consolidation model. So there is the same source of truth. And finally, for reporting, they are delivering a standard SAP Fiori reports that they are user-friendly and they can have the desired breakdown that we require, and they can navigate to the operational accounting records. So how is the system integration as part of the group reporting? The group reporting is in the S/4HANA database, same as the Universal Journal. And in the group reporting, we can proceed with the local or group accounting within its consolidation. And the group reporting, it's being connected with the SAP Group Reporting Data Collection Cloud solution that it can provide to the group reporting the non-SAP source of records, and also to integrate with the data entry that can be uploaded using files, and also to incorporate non-financial records. In addition to that, the group reporting can be integrated either by the SAP Analytics Cloud to have better reportings, such as dashboards, planning, analytics, and it can be also integrated in case of required to the SAP Disclosure Management, in case that we would like to present some reports electronically or print to the different stakeholders with a predefined template. what is the main flow as part of group reporting? First is to obtain the records from the finance data source system. If the companies are in S4HANA, the system will access directly to the S4HANA finance records. If not, it can be integrated using an API or interface to the source systems. And there is also the option to entry manually or a spreadsheet. And once the records are available in the consolidation tables, we can proceed to the review and preparation of the data at consolidation unit level that it corresponds to the company code. So there is some process of validation records to proceed with manual adjustments if required, and also the currency from local into group currency. Later on, once all the different entities have been reviewed the records, it goes to the consolidation for the group. And in that case, there are all type of eliminations between consolidation units that belongs to the same group. And it has also the option to proceed with simulations and having several versions of plan and budget reporting. And to finish, there is the option to have several types of report that we already see in the standard reporting within Fiori, but we can use as well the SAP Analytics Cloud disclosure management, and in addition to that, embed analytics and also analysis for Office. So that's a common question since SAP has released the version of BPC 11, and in which cases is recommended to use group reporting and in which cases is the BPC. It depends of how many instances are for the finance companies in S4HANA. So if most of the companies, they run S4HANA for finance, and it's the most important source of finance, we recommend to implement the S4HANA group reporting, and if possible, to enhance with the SAP Analytics Cloud for reports. But if there are large number of different systems and it's preferred to have just an on-premise solution, it would be recommended to use the SAP BPC 11. So once we already see just the basic concepts, we'll go to the configuration. So as part of this section, we will see first the data model that correspond to the main tables for group reporting, what are the items to set up in the system, and then the master data objects. As part of the data model, the source tables for the SAP companies that they will have finance are two tables. The first one contains the universal journal entry and are the actual postings. And the second table, it's the line items for the plan record. Both of these tables are being transferred to the table of universal consolidation journal entries. And then we have the table for maintain the configuration as part of group reporting. If we open the table for the consolidation, what we can see, it contains over 100 of fields that ones of the more relevant are the financial statement item that correspond to the account in consolidation. We have the consolidation unit correspond to the company that we are reviewing, and further information such as the currencies, the documents, and so on. And as part of the mapping tables or configuration tables, there are over 70, and we can keep all the different configuration required. Once we are having the tables, we will review what are the items to set up in the system for the group reporting. First is the Consolidation Ledger. The Consolidation Ledger, it contains what is the group currency that we will do the consolidation, and also from which source of finance ledger we will get the record. Then we have the consolidation version that it's used in some way to separate between planning, forecast, or actual records within the reporting and closing processes. Then we have the breakdown category that it allows to identify what are the mandatory and optional characteristics for each of the postings in group reporting. Then we have the document type that identifies which is the type of operation that we will do. And then we have the task and task group that it contains the activities that will be done during all the closing processes as part of group reporting. The task group is the list of all the tasks that will be run in the sequence way, and the task is the unit itself. So here is the main configuration. As part of Consolidation Ledger, we can see that there are two, and it identifies the currency. I will go a bit quickly since I will share the presentation with all of you. As part of versions, we can see that there are, for budgets, actuals, same as forecast for the upcoming month. As part of configuration in the consolidation versions, we can define as many different versions for each operation that the system can proceed. For breakdown category, it's defined for each of the different hierarchies what information is required. If it's required, the transaction type, functional area, region, and if it's some default value. As document type, we define if it's required to match the balance, or if the balance should be 0 or not, which type of operation we are including, and if the posting is manual or automatic. In addition to that, there are the task activities that will be run, and within the task that contain, as we will see later, the monitor for executing each of the different tasks in the position that we have defined. All of that configuration are in by the standard deliver, and we can adjust if required. So once the configuration is already set up, we can define the master data objects that will be used for each of the different units. So first we have the financial statement item that represents the account in the consolidation system. Then we have the consolidation unit that is the lowest level of the organizational level for consolidation, and it corresponds usually to the company code. Then we have the consolidation group that is the list for all the consolidation units that belongs to the same group. And then we have validation rule and validation method that there are. Validation rule is the different conditions that we need to check during the closing process. And the validation method is the group, is the list for all the different validations. We will see in the coming slides. So how to create a financial statement item? SAP delivers a Fiori application for which we can filter for some of these fields, and then we can either create a new financial statement item that will be an accounting consolidation or edit the existing one. If we click in editing existing one, we have a basic information that contains the descriptions and also the type of account that we can see the options, and also what are the breakdown category that it includes, what are the mandatory and optional fields, and if there are some optional lists to enter. And also the attributes for the different processing, if there will be some process as part of elimination or currency translation that we will see later on. These financial statement items, it's important to map to a GL account in the accounting system. So it can be using this Fiori app, imported using a predefined template, or define a new mapping or edit the existing mapping. If we edit the existing mapping, what we can see are how the GL accounts are mapped to each of the financial statement items, and the GL accounts that they are not still matching with any financial statement items. We need to review these ones if we want to proceed to the consolidation. Later on, there are the Consolidation Unit that represents each of the company codes that will be included in the consolidation process. The main information is the local currency and also from which source will be. If it's already in S4HANA, it will be read from a universal document. But if the company is not in S4HANA, we need to upload either by API or flat file or spreadsheet. Then we have the Consolidation Group that it's handled using these applications, and it defines the list of consolidation units. It's the ledger that it's defining the currency that will be used in consolidation, and also we can assign as many consolidation units as required depending on the type of relation between the consolidation unit and the consolidation group. And to finalize for master data object, we have the validation rule, that is the condition that should match for each of the different steps that we will go through the closing process. And the validation rules are assigned to the validation method. So validation method is a group with all the rules that will be executed. And this validation method is assigned to a validation task. So depending on the validation task, we are assigning a specific validation method for consolidation unit and periods of validity. So once we already have reviewed the main configuration elements and the basic concepts, we can see some samples in screenshots about the SAP data processes. So first is the data monitor that it corresponds to the closing processes for consolidation units or company code. Then we can proceed with intercompany reconciliation that match all the intercompany relationships between the consolidation units. Then we proceed with the consolidation monitor that it's on the top of each consolidation unit. We have the group of consolidation. And then we proceed with the tasks for each group. And finally, we will go through the reporting. As part of the data monitor, that it corresponds to all the tasks of closing for consolidation unit. There are several tasks. I will share the document with you, and I will go a bit quick for the time being. And the idea is that each of these tasks are run in sequential way in order to have the records standardized. So how to run the data monitor? This is the transaction code for the on-premise solution. And all the tasks are on the top on the screen, and we can see the status of each of these tasks. So firstly is to define the global parameters for the month that we will run the process, and also for which consolidation group we will review. Once checked, first is the release universal journal. It takes all the S4HANA records for finance to the consolidation system. We can click for each consolidation unit or consolidation group, and then either test the execution or just run in update mode. If we click in release universal journal in real mode, the system will show what was the last execution time, and we have three options to get the total amount of records that will be transferred to consolidation, just the difference from last execution to current execution, or to get the values that has been not released in prior periods, just for control. If we click in total, we will see the list for each consolidation unit, what are the financial statement items that will be transferred by consolidation, having the local account and as well as the the local currency, as well as the original account and some information from finance. If the company is not in finance, we need to import the records. We can use the data collection that it's via file or API. So if we click in flexible upload, the system will allow to define which upload method. If it will be a file, if it will be from an application server, and the template that we will use to upload the records for non-finance records or for companies that are not in S4HANA. Then the system will validate records as part of financial statement items if some information that is mandatory is missing, or if the balance for some account is not matching. Then the system will calculate the net income and will post in the accounts that has been set up as part of Consolidation Group reporting. Then the system will validate by local currency each of the consolidation units, depending on the validation method that we have assigned. Then the system allowed to do some manual postings that we define for each consolidation unit, which financial items will be affected. In that case, we have a sample for an adjustment between financial statement items. One of the last steps is to convert all the items for each consolidation unit from local currency to group currency. It will be from USD. The last step as part of data monitor is to do the validation just in group currency, and the system will display in a Fiori website what are the errors and just try to solve them. And we can see the result, the on-premise solution, that there are still some errors pending for these consolidation units. Later on, we have in the 1909 version, SAP delivered new reconciliation intercompany tasks application, and it allows to speed up the reconciliation processes. That application, it's matching automatically the assignments according to the predefined rules, but if not, there is the option to assign it manually. Once they are assigned, there is a report that it's an overview for identifying the new postings that has been done in the system. And if when we click that there are some new postings, the system will display if there is some still outstanding balance pending to assign. And then we can go to the assignment. So this is an iterative task. And then we have the consolidation monitor, that in that case is similar to the local monitor, but in the consolidation group, each of the consolidation units are reporting to some group, so they will sum to the group, and then we will proceed for all the tasks. Most of the tasks correspond to eliminations, that are when our operations between the same between consolidation units within the same group, they are matching and they are eliminated. And then there are some manual postings. So the monitor is quite similar. The just difference that instead of using the consolidation unit is the consolidation group, and there will be the information that we will review with its status. So I will go a bit quick, but the idea is each of the elimination processes is the same steps. The only thing it changed just the GL account that will be used. In that case, this is sales. For other incomes, we can see that there are some eliminations to do, but it was an error. Once we solve the error, the execution will be just a warning, and then it will be post a document adjusting doing the elimination of some items. Same as dividends, balance sheet. Yeah, it was also post just a document as a sample for this group. And then in case of required, it's option to post some manual adjustments. In posting level 20, that it means between consolidation units. And you can post a transfer from one consolidation unit to another related to financial statement. Then there is also some investment elimination, group shares that it determines depending on the type of relation and what is the parents for each of the group, it determines the percentage of shares. Then there is another adjustment, but that's in posting level 30. That it means that it's in the same group, and then we can identify for financial statement item within this group. And finally, there is the validation process for all the group records already consolidated in the group currency, and it shows if there is some error or something to adjust. Finally, we can see the results as part of the consolidation monitor, and that the process has been complete. Okay, we can see that there are still some outstanding errors that should be reviewed. And to end the process, it's the main reports that will be used, the local consolidating reports and also the Analytics Cloud. The local reports, they are developed in Fiori, and the idea is to filter by one or many consolidation units that we want to review, and choosing for which hierarchy we will use to represent the report. And then the system will display for this hierarchy the different postings in local and group currency, year-to-date and totals for the consolidation, for the financial statement items, each of the accounts in consolidation system. We can add as many characteristics as desired. We can include the business area, the customer, country, and so on. There is the option also to add the chart. So if we click in the chart, we can see on the top the chart and also the amounts. And we can also adjust multiple charts, and it has the option of the analytics table. Then we have the consolidation reporting that it's quite similar, but instead of using the consolidation unit, we use the consolidation group. That it contains the data already reviewed at consolidation group level for the hierarchy that we want to review. When we run the system, we will see the different records by posting level. The posting level first is the amount that has been reported, but then the different adjustments that has been done the system, or posting level 20 or 30 that we saw in the manual adjustments. And we can also add as many characteristics and subtotals as required. And then we can also add the chart to review the chart against the values. And to finalize, we have the SAP Analytics Cloud that it can be implemented in order to have the KPIs and some dashboards in a very intuitive way to take decisions about the consolidation records by consolidation group or by consolidation unit. And then it can be obtained to the stakeholders. So while it was a bit quick, just for 30 minutes, I hope that you understand a bit more the group reporting functionality. And thank you so much for your time. And I hope that you had a nice evening. If you have some question, you can put a comment, and I will provide the slides to check it.
Okay. So, Daniel?
Yes.
At the moment, there is no new question in the chat. So we remember you. If you have any questions to Daniel, you can write directly in the chat. Otherwise, we will provide you the slides and the content, so we'll be able to contact him.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Daniel.
Nice repeat.